Greetings, Precinct 30, and greetings, Pima County. My name is Laura Conover. I am a lifelong Tucsonan, a lifetime Democrat, and I am running to be your next Pima County attorney. We call this position the district attorney, the DA, in most other places where we all come from, but I am a lifetime Tucsonan and I've only known it as the county attorney's office. When my mother moved here from Kansas City, I was a baby and she was expecting my brother. She so fell in love with the old Pueblo, she decided she would live here and stay here forever, and she did. And of course she wanted us to stay here forever as well. And so she made me bilingual. Not because she's not, but she wanted me to be able to stay and live and play and work here with all of our community, not just some of it. I thank her for that probably still 3 times a week. Indeed, I stayed here, went to law school here, and spent 17 years doing all kinds of criminal justice work here in our community. I did criminal defense work as a public defender for those who could not afford their own legal counsel to help level the playing field and bring inequality to the system. I did that in the county, and then because I was bilingual, I moved to federal court and did that for almost a decade. 5 years ago, I built my own small practice, and it was a beautiful law firm. I enjoyed owning my own small business here in southern Arizona, and it became a very diverse criminal justice background. I continued to do some defense work in federal court. I started to do security clearance work. I was hired by large construction and fiber optics companies to help them hire people coming out of prison and getting them back into the workforce. I became a legal victims representative. I was hired by well over a dozen families to represent them in court. There were domestic violence issues, there were parents worried for children, there were parents who had suffered the ultimate loss of a child. I helped them through the trauma of that system, and I saw where we do a very good job at victim services, especially in homicide, but where we need to make improvements in areas just below homicide, and where we need to bring in services for property crime victims, where almost none exist at all. 2 years ago, the judges on the federal bench in federal court appointed me to represent nearly 400 attorneys to the bench, to the judges on the bench, district-wide. They believed that the government was about to shut down, and indeed it did. And so I represented those attorneys who honored the Constitution, returned to court every single morning to assist their clients and honor the Constitution, all unpaid for a full financial quarter over the holidays with no notice. Those were my management skills as trial by fire. And it turns out I love to herd cats. I mean manage attorneys. Just immediately after that, the measles broke out in Pinal County, in the detention centers where those attorneys have clients. And I immediately partnered with the United States Marshal Service, because both the deputy marshals and those attorneys were first responders without a medical screening, lest they pass the measles to migrants or migrants pass the measles back to them. That was my crisis management and my public health beginning, and little did I know how crucial that would become now. I am running for Pima County Attorney because this office needs a leader right now who is battle-tested in crisis management and leadership skills. I helped the busiest federal courthouse in the nation just now move migrants out of custody in time to build medical units inside to protect inmates, to protect corrections officers, to protect law enforcement and medical personnel. We turned the busiest courthouse in the nation into a completely virtual environment in only 3 weeks. That's the kind of leadership we must move quickly into the Pima County Attorney's Office. Someone who can help during this crisis and then help us and stand side by side with community leaders as we safely and cautiously resume normal operations here in this community. Never has there been a moment in time more critical than now to bring criminal justice reform into this community. Not only because this is a 44-year administration coming to a close with a retirement, and we must breathe fresh air into this agency, but because this is the time for an attorney to come in from the outside who knows that we spend 60% of the general fund for the county, our property taxes, on law and order, when we have long known that we cannot prosecute our way out of a public health crisis. We must stop using the jail as a warehouse for those suffering mental illness and struggling with addiction. When we finally recognize that here and we move those people into treatment at a third of the cost, we have the resources and the energy available to restart the first financial crimes unit in that office in 20 years. Why? Because we must tackle fraud and scam rampant in this community. These are some of the reframing of prosecutorial priorities that are absolutely critical at this moment in time. We need a trusted and known Democrat to come in there with the best interests of all of us. Una fiscala para toda la comunidad, no solo un parte. For all of us. And now is the perfect moment in time. You will receive these ballots in the mail likely in July for an August 4 primary. I encourage you to visit lauraconover.com, where you'll see all of my positions on the issues important to this race. And if you're on Facebook, you can join me at Conover for County Attorney on Facebook. We're doing live town halls where you can see me and you can send in your questions. I encourage you to be in contact with me. I look forward to meeting when we can, when it's safe for us to do so. But in the meantime, be well, be healthy, be strong. Join us. Thank you so much.